Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well today, my friends. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys are continuing to conquest yourselves and in God's name and God's purpose. And that's important as you focus on yourselves and your goals and continuing to become the high-value males that all of you warriors are, and I know that. All right, so let's do some quick shout-outs out here before we get to our topic. All right, so Papa Ciprion, thank you, my friend. LILO Seni, thank you, my friend. BH28, I appreciate it. Justyn Sole, my friend, I'm sorry you got fired. Communicate. Sometimes what happens is that people will be jealous. They'll be upset. They'll not know how to handle your energy. And those things you have to expect. I've got fired many times in my 62, almost 63 years of life. And sometimes people will not like you. But continue on your goals. You're doing the right thing. And eventually you'll find the right fit. And you'll feel better about it as well. So we'll pray for you, my friend. Jon the Dawn, thank you. Lightning to Dark, thank you. 24K, thank you. Hardmode King, TKO as always. True Image, Yisrael, yehuddah, thank you. Hardboy, thank you. Do I drink coffee or caffeine? I don't drink coffee. I never got really the taste of that. I don't smoke. I don't do a lot of those type of things. I don't drink. So I've kind of stayed away from a lot of those things, and I think they help me. Even before semen retention, I think those things were helpful for me to kind of stay in decent shape, not like the great shape I am now because of retention and the other things I'm doing. But I don't. Dirtymink, thank you. Jennings talks about Norman Vincipio. I love Norman Vincipio. I loved him. I was sad when he passed away a number of years ago, but I worked with him back in the 1990s a little bit. He was a great pastor from New York City, and I was in New York City for a while, and he did a lot of work with the positive thinking, and he's the one that started making me realize that you can actually change things around you if you change the thoughts around you. And instead of looking at things like the glass being half empty, you're looking at the positive side. You're being more positive instead of negative. Does it work for everything? No, but what it does, it keeps you in a mind of possibility. It doesn't allow you to be depressed and get up and get down yourself. It's positive type of thinking. And I think you have to kind of have that in life to be successful. Don't allow the things to get, no matter what happens to you, take it like stoicism. Take it to the fact that it's gonna happen. But like anything else, don't get too high, don't get too low, just continue moving on. And I think that positive thinking helps a lot that way. And Nelson Perez, thank you as well. I do not know Alan Corin, John, but thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. All right, so at 3 minutes and about 3 minutes here, let's talk about the topic we're going to talk about. We're talking about the fact that this journey we're taking, warriors, is a marathon, not a short trip, not a sprint. It is a marathon. Now, why do we say that? Let's take a look at this idea that we're talking about here and why we're doing all this, going back to the long-term type of goal. The goal we have, and we have 3 different areas of goals that I believe in. First of all, your first one should be the spiritual goal. You should want to connect with your God, your creator. In my case is Lord Jesus Christ. And so all the books that I'd read, all the things I talked about that I learned about, I learned that you have to have a strong connection with your God. And the only way you do that is almost like with women with childbirth, they have that connection because they're delivering a child from God. In our cases, it would make more sense that all the energy you have inside of you, that is connecting you to your God. And obviously, if you're throwing it away, remember your body is your temple from God, then all of a sudden, you're giving that away. You're not being as connected as you should be. And that's why I read that you do a number of years, I think the case was 12 years, something like that, you become stronger with the Lord that you're with, the God you're with. And so this is one of the reasons why it's important to be able to have that type of connection. And that's also why this becomes a long-term type of thing. Yes, you can go from days, maybe have a relapse, but then you go back to understand this is a lifestyle change. This is not something you're just doing this year, this month. and you're saying, oh no, it didn't work the way I wanted to do, you go ahead and do it. And that's part of the problem why people sometimes fail. So warriors, never think of this as a one-type shot. This is going to solve everything. But what you think about it in terms of your lifestyle, your life is changing. And this is one aspect of it. Obviously, when I did this, I started then having success in other areas, whether it was financial, taking cold showers, food, diet, working out, things like that. But what you got to do is realize you are changing your life. Warriors become changes. You are changing. It's different. That's why we call it the 1% Club. Most people don't believe in the stuff we're talking about. They'll probably laugh at you talk about retention. They may laugh at you talk about even exercising. So a lot of people in this world, in my opinion, are soft. They've learned to be soft. And you can see that. And because of that, they're not willing to work, whether it's working on a job, whether it's working themselves, working out hard themselves, they're not willing to do that. And so the results they get are what they put into it. That's why we talk about this is important, that you're part of the 1% Club, that you work as hard as you can to become the best person you can become. And so from a spiritual standpoint, you're using this life marathon to become the closest to God you can as you leave this earth one day. And some of you are 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old. You may be close to 62, 63 like I am. Who knows how long you're going to live? Only God knows that. But you can become the best person you become every day you do that. And part of that's the retention. And so that's one aspect. The second reason why this is a marathon is from the intellectual standpoint. You want to become the most knowledgeable person you can about what's happening in this world. Remember, there's two worlds here. And once again, this is something that most people will not accept because they don't believe the spiritual aspect of things. But there's a physical world in which you see things in front of you. You see a car, you see my hands, you see those type of things. And then there's a spiritual aspect, things you don't see. And that's where Satan, that's where the evil one, that's where temptation, all these things can rear its ugly head, and all of a sudden you're changing your behaviors. And so this is when the spiritual world can affect your physical world. And that's important to realize. And so that's another aspect of why it's important to realize this is a long-term type of thing. You want to become as knowledgeable as time goes on as you can. And the knowledge comes from the fact that you understand what life is about and that we don't live in this world. Yes, we are living in this world. It's kind of hard to, it sounds like an oxymoron but you live in the world, but we really don't live in the world. We are physically sitting here. I'm physically here making a video. Yes. But your mind, your spirit, your intellect shouldn't realize that there is a different world than what you're seeing. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And that's the part you got to focus on. The spiritual world, the idea that you cannot be tempted by things, and that there's a spirit out there that's trying to destroy people, along with a spirit trying to build you up. You want to keep with the spirit building up and stay away from all those spirits that are trying to destroy you through drugs, gambling, pictures, all kinds of stuff like that. Those are the things you have to be careful of. And the third reason you're talking about this as a marathon and not a short trip or a short sprint is the fact you're talking about your physical. Physical, I don't care how old you are. I'm still working out every day. I try to do 30,000 steps. I'm on a treadmill. I'm going to hit the treadmill and a bike in a couple minutes here. I still continue to try to work out. I'm getting closer. Six-pack, I'm getting to like a 3 now. So I'm getting closer. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I won't. But the idea is that you keep pushing yourself. I've lost about 60 pounds. I'm down to about 200 now. I was at 260 at one time when all this started 3 years ago. So I kind of kept this going. But the idea is you really want to focus on becoming the best person you can, spiritually, intellectually, and physically. And from a physical standpoint, you want to continue this long term. It's no good if it only lasts a month. No good if it only lasts 6 months. you're going to fall back into habits. Almost like dieting. You got to watch the calorie intake. It's one thing I've learned. You cannot just do it for, a few weeks and then go back. Same thing working out. You got to stick with it all the time. Work on a schedule in which you're able to do that. And how do we do that? Well, every day you realize your goals, physically, spiritually, mentally. Every day you're trying to get better at these goals. Doesn't mean you have to go crazy. Now, sometimes I do go crazy with the calories and things. I have to take a step back. But the idea is you want to continue to build on what you're doing. And as you're doing this, you build a habit of success, and you will stand out to a lot of people around you because you're in better shape with them. You're more spiritually attuned to what's going on in the world. People see that. They see your energy level. They see your connection to God. They see your intellectual level as well. And they see you physically. They understand this. This is why women get attracted to you. They see God in you, in my opinion. I think Charles mentioned that. Charles Peele, I think, mentioned that a few times. They see God in you. And that, I think, is very accurate. Because God is working with you to become the best person you can become. You've given yourself up to your God, and God is responding back to that. All right, so anyway, this is a marathon, my friends. And so every day you become better. Even if you have a bad day, doesn't matter. Keep going to the next day. Focus on the next day. Continue to focus on getting better every day. And son, you can't go wrong that way, because in the long run, God is with you, and you're working with God to fulfill his purpose. And why would he create something that is going to fall apart? It's really us that make that determination. Sometimes it happens well, and sometimes it doesn't. All right, my friends. So enough for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll get back to another one pretty soon. But remember, always two things. One, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number two, my friends, always remember to battle on!